WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have something from Signature Vintage for the German importer Kirsch, so it's a Germany exclusive, and it's called Archangel No.1. This is a Ben Nevis. This is an 8-year-old Ben Nevis. I think this is the first bottle I've actually had that's been bottled 2023. So this was distilled 2014, bottled 2023. So it is it's 8 years of age. Whiskybase number 228464. And very interestingly, it's not a single cask, it's a double cask. Now it's not twice in the same cask, it's two separate casks blended together. So we have a first fill Oloroso Sherry Butt, and we have a second fill port pipe. So out of these two casks, we then get a total bottle count of 1,336 bottles at 58.5%. Now, that is interesting because a lot of the times at the moment in Germany, at least in Germany, and I'm sure in America as well, think of SW, Scotch Whiskey, Scotch Malt Whiskies, SMWA. Think of the Scotch Malt Whiskey Association. If you have a single barrel, 200 bottles from a bourbon cask, from a port pipe or a sherry butt, 550. If you're lucky, 600, and that's it. And so in this case, you put two together, and sherry and port is something unusual. I mean, good Bushmills, 16-year-old. They use bourbon and sherry and finish and port, so there is that mixture there. I've had a few other ones that have done it as well, but a first fill Oloroso Sherry Butt and a second fill port pipe is unique, to be honest, and to bottle it. So if you take a look here, you have a label. So Tom Thiel, which is a German artist, he created this label here, and it says everything I've already said here. Highland single malt Scotch whiskey. It says here distilled at Ben Nevis Distillery and distilled in 2014, bottled in 2023. So aged 8 years. Wow. So, I need my... Yes, I stole the idea, of course, from Ralphie. I know, forgive me, but that's okay. So, distilled 8 years, small batch. It's a small batch of one first fill Oloroso Sherry Butt and one second fill port pipe. Unchilled filtered, natural color, cask strength, produced and bottled in Scotland. So 1,336 bottles. I'll turn one. And it's here bottled for and by Kirsch Import, Signature Vintage, 700 milliliters and 58.5. So I don't know if you can see this or not, but the lettering is a little bit, where you have brown on brown, it's always a little bit of a problem, at least for me. So now the price, what are you asking? If you've looked at Whiskybase 228464, you do know that the recommended retail price that most of the retailers are actually asking for this is €99.90. So this is the number one of 4. This is the series. Number 2, I did not buy. It's from Kilhoman. And me and Kilhoman are not the best of friends, at least from the peatiness and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out a bottle here that actually was designed by the same artist. So our Thomas Thiel also did the Viking serie, which was about a year and a half ago. Signature Vintage has a very, very strong cooperation here with Kirsch in Germany. And so this is their Pulteney. This is 2008 is when it was then distilled, and I'm just shocked because it was distilled on the 17th of, it was bottled on the 17th of December 2020. So that's a long time ago, a little more than 2 years ago. So now my question of the day is, so I'm gonna pull out the bottle here. Are you a marketing victim? Are you a victim of marketing? So that means you see a pretty bottle, I have to have, take my money. Are you one of these people? I sometimes am, I must admit. Yeah, I saw this, I was like, that's kind of cool, let's go for a bottle. Now, Ben Nevis and I are not the best of friends, so I decided, hey, let's give it a new chance. And I personally like sherry and port together. I love port. I like some types of sherry, so why not put them two together and make Jason happy? That was my thought. Now, many people that I know who are buying this bottle and the other bottle, they're going to buy number 3 and number 4 and have as a collector items on their shelf where they can go, oh, look at the pretty artwork. Now, to me, for my personal opinion, I do not want and I actually do not need pretty artwork on my whiskey. I like the dates to read, the facts, and I love it that the back of the bottle is absolutely empty. You can see the color of the whiskey, and that's it. They put the nice little sticker around here so that when you pour, if you pour here, cling, 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 you pour here, it's protected. All right, so that's why you have that little band up here. All right, when you pour, you put it on the lid of the glass, and it works out just fine. Otherwise, you'd have a lot of clinging and clanging and not good noises there. I'm happy with that. So I don't need the picture. Now, I do know some people that actually buy the rights for artwork and then they put that on the bottle and people buy it and are happy and so on. I don't know about you. I don't look at the bottle when I drink. All right? I pour something in glass, I put the bottle back on the shelf, I look at my glass. I look at the color of the glass. I smell the glass. I taste the product in the glass. And the bottles go back up the shelf. Now, you can put it on the table and admire it all you want, and some people do, but that's my question. Are you victims of marketing? You buy things just because of the pretty little pictures? And the second thing is, I have the feeling, at least over here in Germany, we have so many series at the moment of independent bottlers using pretty pictures of demons, of angels, of astronauts, of castles, of what else did we have here? Of comics, of all these different things. I'm bloody getting sick and tired of it. All right, so it's just like I'm fed up with it. I'm sick and tired of it. But apparently, the market at the moment still demands it or still wants it, and therefore it's happening. I'm happy for Tom Thiel that he can actually create his artwork. I'm really looking forward to the first artwork, which is created by Chat GPT, and then we don't have to pay the artist. Just didn't make some friends with that statement, did I? All right, so type in GPT. So Chat GPT, please create a Viking picture, maybe even female. Maybe even type in the word looks like this and this famous person, and change it a little bit to make sure the person has a different color hair or different color eyes or higher cheekbones, and then make DALI, I think it is from from OpenAI, make that artwork for you and use it for your whiskey label. Is that really the direction we want to go in? All right, so it's all about whiskey here, I thought. Now on the nose, this has, I like the nose. It's a unique nose. It has leather. It has peaches, canned peaches. Your mom or your grandmother, probably your aunt, put the peaches last year in the jar and they took them to the picnic in the summer. You're on the picnic and you've had those peaches out in the sun for the last 2 to 3 hours and they're not spoiled yet. They've not started to ferment, but they're not the fresh as they should have been. That's what I'm getting here, a little bit of that peach moment. It's a unique combination of port and sherry, I must admit. I do like. There's a little bit of a leatherness going on here. And there's a malty caramel moment. And there's a tiny little bit of a allspice / cinnamon moment. So, now going over here to the Pulteney. The Pulteney is much fresher. There's grapefruit. There's candied grapefruit. There's candied banana chips. So there's a little bit of a salty maritime moment going on here. of the two of these, I prefer the Pulteney to this on the nose. This is a little bit more of our bass, and this is a little bit more of our baritone. Baritone is higher than the bass, right? Bass, baritone, tenor, which I'm not. Okay, soprano, I'm not even going to try. All right, so let's try these 58.5, 58.2. So 8 years of age, and this was, so it was bottled 2022, and it was distilled 2008, so it's 12 years old. 12 versus 8 years. Remember where we used to think 12 years was like the minimum? Anything under 12, I'm talking, this was 2016, 2018, where I was like, okay, it's single cask, it's barrel proof, it's under 12 years. No, why? And today it's like, oh, it's 8. It's not 4, it's not 5, it's not 6, it's 8. Oh. And it's like we're almost excited to have an 8-year-old single barrel cask strength whiskey from Scotland, which I'm not really sure about that. All right, so on the nose, it's good. Cheers. Mm. 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 So my hand movement describes how hot that whiskey is, how much alcohol sharpness is there. It's more than I want. The heat of this whiskey is much more than expected and much more than desired. There's at the end there's an interesting tartness, almost a bitterness. It's almost if you had the almond skin that you're getting here. That's that almond skin tartness. It's dry, astringent, tart moment. Almost like this. You have some high cacao chocolate. So if you have that 85% coca chocolate, that's what I'm getting here. There are going to be people out here that love this whiskey. There's the leatherness, there's the chocolate, there's a little bit of orange peel, there's that candied, no, that was the candy moment. Here's the orange peel. There's a little bit of coffee espresso moment going on here, but it's just way too hot for me. So this is not the whiskey that I expected or that I desired. Now I'm going to actually add some water. Now on my German video, which I just did, I added a little bit of water. Now I'm going to add serious water. I'm going to go from 58 down to 48% is what I'm trying to hit here. And I'm going to see what happened. Now on the nose, I'm still getting a little bit of that orange peel. I'm getting a little bit of a Hawaiian punch. I'm getting a little bit of a leather and a definite nuttiness. Let's call it then toasted almonds. Mm-hmm. Interesting, when you dilute dilute a whiskey down with water, you get some more sweetness often before you get being diluted and watered down. It actually creates a better mouthfeel. It creates actually more sweetness. Now this whiskey with water was better. I put a few drops in it in my German video, and it just got a little bit tart and a little bit sharper. But with more water, talking down to about 48, 50%, this whiskey actually turns into something that has a nice mouthfeel, has a good aftertaste. As I mentioned, orange peel. Have you ever had a candle and you put the orange peel and you squeezed it and that aroma was a little bit on fire? That's what I'm getting here. I'm getting a nice leather note. I'm getting chocolate, dark chocolate. I'm still getting those peaches in there. So it got a fruitiness. It's really it's almost like a base smoke. It's not berry white base, but it's base. And it's very, very nice. That actually went from the C minus, and I was going to give it up to a solid C, maybe even a C plus with water. Interesting. Now, is this worth €100? My experience? I'm going to say, unfortunately, no. Um, this is an 8-year-old product, which means that's over 12 euros per year. No, thank you. This is 58.5%. Now, if I do add water, I get a little bit more from it. So I'm going to give this a C minus for value for money. Um, I do like the signature vintage and Kirsch actually have no label. You can see the color. You have one label, identical label to this. They add that little band at the top. They use a nice little decanter bottle, heavy bottle, nice of thing. We still have the cardboard tin here with the lid here to protect the bottle from sunlight, and then the transport. One day we're going to get rid of those due to environmental reasons. I've been told. We'll see and find out when. It is natural color. Nowhere does it say. Does it say cast? I read this. Did it say cast strength? It said here unchilled filtered natural color cast strength produced. Yes, it is cast strength. So 58.5% is cast strength. It's everything we want in a whiskey. Integrity, single barrel. We know its identity. I'm not 100% sure if the single barrels port and the single barrel sherry were actually full maturation for all 8 years. So I did a little bit of the math with the 1,336 bottles. And if I do the math, I have a sherry butt is usually about 500 liters. So I would have lost in the 8 years basically here 23 of the 500 liters, which is so less than 5%, or about, yeah, less than 5%. That's not very much for 8 years. So I have a little bit of the feeling that they had refilled the sherry butts. It's a finish. They refilled the port pipe. It was a finish, and then they actually did this. I can't confirm anything. I just know that legally you only have to name the last cask it was in. All right, but I do like the fact that we do have here not a single barrel, but a double barrel. I need a new word for that. Is it a twin barrel? Let's call it twin barrels, because double barrel is something else. You have the liquid in two things after each other successfully, and here a twin barrel. So we have the sister cask, and the twins that were put together. Yeah, it's a twin barrel. Let's use that phrase, twin barrel. I like. Signature Vintage has been doing this for years, so they have a little bit more product for different markets. Now, in comparison, the Pulteney, as I said, baritone, much higher. But the problem is that this is actually a sherry finish. And that sherry finish, the sherry they're using has a little bit of plasticine, a little bit of a lot of artificial sweetener and an artificial plastic moment going on in there. Now, there's so many different types of sherry, and this uses a finish of a sherry, not a specific sherry, not the Oloroso, not the Moscatel, not the Pedro Jimenez, not the Palo Cortado, not the Amontillado, not the Fino, but just a seasoned cask. And it does have a little bit of that wild cherry going on there with that saltiness, and so not bad, but it's a tiny little bit too artificial for me. 12 years versus 8 years. I'll see if I get one of the other three. One of the other four. So Horsemen #2, I decided not to. As I said, Coile #1, the Ben Nevis. Do I get the Ben Nevis moment here? Maybe, but it's not. It's not distillate driven from the distillery. It's really cask driven. So you have the port, you have the sherry that you have here, and not the Ben Nevis moment. So that's that. All right, so my question of the day remains the same. Are you someone who is a victim of marketing, that you have to buy something if you see the label, take my money? Or are you a little bit like me, fed up and sick and tired of all these people trying to lure us out of our money by making us think these pretty pictures are going to make a okay whiskey even better? So that's my question of the day, and maybe you can give other examples of these series of beautiful pictures or pretty pictures trying to lure us in to buy the whiskey instead of the quality of the spirit itself. WhiskyJason here, single barrel from Germany, twin barrel from Germany, single barrel here for Germany. So a lot of rare and exotic whiskeys going on here. Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, telling others, and sharing. Bye bye.